Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bunny Cakes, and if you're new here, welcome back to my channel. Well, welcome to my channel for the first time. Today I am going to be filming my TBR for the Tome Topple Readathon, which takes place between May 9th and 11:59 p.m. in your time zone on May 22nd. So it starts as soon as May 9th starts for you, and it ends as soon as May 22nd ends for you. This is a readathon that was created by Thoughts on Tomes, and she has multiple co-hosts this time: Adriana, Sarah James, Cyan, Sam 2, Jocelyn, and Gaia. I will link all of their social medias below, as well as the announcement video for this readathon, and their Twitter as well, which is where most of the sprints start. There's also a Goodreads group, but Thoughts on Tomes said that she doesn't really use Goodreads, so there won't be any sprints over there. Now, it's been a while since I participated in Tome Topple, so some things have changed since the last time I did it. Like this time, there are prompts, and there are like classes. So this year the prompts, one book can count for a maximum of 2 prompts, and they cannot be repeated. As I remember before, this also, I just knocked my mic, so I'm sorry if there was a thumping sound there. You also can't read compilations. I don't see that rule mentioned, but I know the last time I participated, you couldn't read like Stephen King does, like big thick tomes, but they're novellas and short stories, so you can't do compilations like that. The main idea for the TBR is to read books that have 500 pages or more. So what I'm going to do with this is I have a couple of books that I know I'm most likely to read, especially the first one I'm going to mention, because I really, really want to read it. And I've made it part of my TBR for the Medievalathon that I'm participating in, and this TBR, so I'm 3 times more likely to read it, and also just I'm really super interested in it. So my first book for this is going to be The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. My paperback copy that I have coming in the mail is 576 pages, so it just scooches over the line of 500 pages. For that one, that is going to be my tome that's part of a series, because it's a sequel. It's the Handmaid's Tale series. The next book that I'm going to read actually could have been considered part of a series as well, but I'm not counting it for that. This one, it's called Eye of the World. It's book 1 of the Wheel of Time series, and it is 753 pages, so it is definitely a big chunky tome. I want to read this one because there is a group of people that I've joined a Discord with that are going to be doing a read-along and discussion of the series at the end of May. And so they've got me interested in reading this series. There are, I want to say, like 14 or 15 books in this series. And it looks really good and really interesting. And also, I snapped up the ebook version of this for $2.99 on Amazon. I originally looked at it and I was like, I kind of want to buy it, but then I was like, no, I'll just check it out at the library. It's written by Robert Jordan. But then I popped over to Amazon like literally a couple of hours later because I was trying to see if it fit for Tome Topple, and it was $2.99, so I bought it. So I own it now as an ebook. But yeah, it's definitely one of the top 2 that I want to read. Now I have 3 others on here that fit other prompts. I'm not going to do a tome for every prompt because even including 1 tome in my TBR this month is ambitious because I have so many books that I really want to read this month. And of course, if I don't read the books this month, I will read them next month. Um, but I have a bunch of tomes as I was considering this that I wanted to add, so I'm going to add them as a TBR. And hey, maybe I'll get a time turner or something. I mean, I do have a time turner keychain. If I could just get it working, maybe I'll have time to read all these books. So the next book that I have in consideration for my Tome Topple TBR would work for the standalone um, prompt, which is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This one is, I think, 588 pages. Definitely a chunky tome. I mean, it's on the smaller side, but 500 pages is a chunky book. So this is one that's also been on my TBR for a while. And I actually got it for free at one of my favorite thrift shops that gives books away for free. So this is definitely in consideration, so I'm considering it on my TBR. The next book I have in my TBR is by far the longest on my current TBR. I think I may have a couple of books that have more pages than this. They're also Stephen King books, so there's that. This book has 1,141 pages. It's The Stand by Stephen King. I have watched the movie a long, long time ago, and I loved it. I've never read the book though, and since we're going through the plague right now, I thought it would be appropriate. But it's ginormous. I have a lot of books I want to read this month. I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but yeah, it's definitely in my interest range. And because I have so much I want to read, what I'm trying to do to promote myself in reading and in and keep myself in the mood to read is I have a whole bunch of lists, a whole bunch of books, and a whole bunch of lists of books, and I just read whatever it is I want to in the moment. The next book that I'm going to put on, I'm also going to consider The Stand, not just my tome with the most pages, but a tome that's been on my TBR for a long time. It's probably, of the books I own, it's actually been on my TBR for the longest. And then the final book that's on my TBR, I'm going to consider this my tome for an adult tome, even though all my tomes are adult tomes. This is Eye of the Moon by Ivan Oblinsky. Yeah, this is an arc I got a long time ago. And I meant to read it. I actually have bookmarks in it. I think I remember starting it a while ago. Yeah, I did, because there's a crease in the top of it where I'd had my bookmark in it. But I'm definitely going to restart it if I do read it. I remember it's something about a werewolf, I think, possibly. Let's see. A 5-day anniversary celebration at a 1970s upper-class estate reunites two childhood friends and involves the attending family, friends, and servants alike in an intricate mystery, deception, revenge, betrayal, and the occult, and potential murder. Spun with suspense and realistic magic, Eye of the Moon is a brisk and dialogue-driven tale that will keep you reading late into the night. I don't know why I'm thinking this has something to do with a werewolf. I don't know. I clearly didn't get very far into it. Let's see how far I got the first time I read it. I got about 30 pages in the first time I read it, so I don't know if it has to do with a werewolf or not. Maybe I'm just hallucinating that. Maybe I'm thinking it's that because it says Eye of the Moon, and that sounds like a werewolfy title. I don't know. But I remember I really enjoyed the first 30 pages when I read it, when I started to read it a couple years ago. I can't remember why I stopped reading it. It wasn't that I didn't like it. I think I may have just misplaced the book for a little while. But those are the books that are on my TBR. I know for certain I'm going to read The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. And I'm probably at least going to attempt to get to Eye of the World. The others, I don't know how likely they are, but I'm trying to be ridiculously ambitious. because I'm in a headspace where being ridiculously ambitious is actually keeping me out of a reading slump. So, I should at least attain the class of student. I doubt I'm going to get above a student in this readathon. But the point is really just to get yourself interested in reading and try to knock at least one tome off of your TBR if you have any tomes. So again, I will link everybody's social media down below and the prompts as well. And if you're participating in it, go ahead and let me know down below what you're reading, and let's talk about it. If you're excited, if you never participated in it before, definitely give it a look. It's a great way to encourage each other to read bigger books that we might be putting off, because reading a book that's more than 500 pages is typically a very daunting task. I know, back when I started reading, I want to say the Game of Thrones series, I got the books in an ebook like set of of the first 4 books, and if I remember right, it took me a whole year to finish that. Granted, I was in college at the time as well, so I couldn't just exclusively devote my life to reading. Even my non-college time was either spent working or reading school stuff, so I typically read faster than that. But yeah, I remember that the Game of Thrones series took me like a year to read, and it's funny because like the Harry Potter series took me like, the only reason it took me more than 6 months to read is because I had to wait for the books to come out. um, but yeah, I really liked Tome Topple the last time I participated in it. I'm hoping that I can participate in some of the sprints, but I don't know with my work hours changing. But I'm definitely going to shoot for 1, maybe 2 tomes this month on top of my other readathon that I'm doing. Or maybe I can fit those in there. I mean, with the other readathon, medievalathon that I'm doing, every book I read counts towards some part of that. So, who knows? Maybe I'll knock some of the shorter books off and add a couple of tomes if I feel into tomes this month. But that's all I have. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you really like my content, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. If you want to be notified of my content, I try to post daily content. Some days I miss a day because of reasons, but for the most part, I've been doing daily content since I started my channel back in May. So there's probably something on here you might like, whether it's a book review or a TBR or a wrap-up or a book haul. That reminds me, I'll be having a book haul coming up super duper soon. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.